love this sound. Just harmonizing simple melodies with thirds or sixths, and playing a simple chord. It's really intoxicating, but it is a bit confusing to figure out which of these shapes go where, because if you hit a wrong one, you feel like you just screwed up. And I want you to feel like you have confidence to just play simple melodies, harmonize them on the fly. Today I'm going to show you the exact recipe that I've been working on with my members to make it really simple. Not overly simple, this is the real stuff. But we're going to use the power of, guess what? That's a major scale. That's why we got to learn these patterns. Let's get into it. This little vamp behind us is C major. Grab your guitar. I'm going to show you some tasty stuff. How to harmonize melodies using thirds and sixths. We're going to need to have two positions to give us more room so that when we do these, sorry, get my finger down there. These moves like this, we'll be able to know where to go. The scale and our familiarity with it will make these fingerings that we're going to need much more intuitive, right? Now check out what's going on with that piano keyboard. I want you to notice as I go up the scale, C, D. Of course, these are all the white keys, just to make it nice and clear and simple to illustrate some things. Piano players have it somewhat, not simpler, but just a little more obvious, laid out in a linear pattern. Watch when I harmonize. You can see the exact spacing of those keys is the same. There's one white key in between the two that are playing the harmony. On guitar, we have all these screwy sort of tuning things where the notes look different and they're in multiple places. So these two notes, there's a C and an E, there they are again here. And they're because of the tuning of the guitar. I'm telling you what you already know. It can be really confusing. But now if we just take it nice and simple and slow, here's your recipe to harmonize a melody. And we'll start with thirds. And if we have a simple melody, just three notes. We went down and back up from a C. Try playing that. We got C, B, A, B, and then C. So check this out. If I go 1, 2, 3, I just walked up the scale. I'm staying within the scale. And that's probably the most important part. The scale is giving you guardrails to tell you where to go. Remember that. Okay, so I'm not just going any number of three notes. I'm going within the scale using the guardrails. Do, re, mi. And now that gives me the note that is going to be the harmony note. Now I play them together. So at first this might be kind of slow going, but once you get these sort of memorized, and that's the goal, by the way. You don't want to be counting these out, only when you're first getting familiar with them. And then you want them just to be shapes. So again, my melody is C, B, A, B, C. Now we've got our first shape. We walked up from that C, C, D, E. That's that third above C. And that's a major third. What maybe people don't tell you or point out is that when we're playing a melody harmonized in thirds, that's a mix of major and minor thirds. It's not just always major thirds because you're in a major scale. Maybe that's a light bulb. Let's see. So now this note, that's the second note of our melody. That's a B. We're going to go up three notes within the scale. Right? So B, C, D. That's our second shape. And on its own, it sounds a little bit like it's dissonant. It's great. It's just on its way somewhere, right? That's all tension is. Right? So now we have the first two pairs. You're seeing where this is going. Now we're going to go to the third note of our melody, which is A. We're going to walk up A, B, C. And that's an example of where I need to have these two different scale patterns side by side. Because if I go A, B, C, both of those notes are on the same string. I need to go to a different string. Piano players don't have to do that. Look at that. So A, B, C. So now we have all three groupings that we need to play that melody. And remember, the melody is the underlying three-note. This will go faster, trust me. This is like getting your ingredients set up before cooking. Now we got. So that's harmonizing by a third And the truth is, it's a major third, a minor third, a minor third, a minor third. But all that jumbling you don't need to worry about as long as you're staying within the scale. We could do the exact same thing by harmonizing in thirds, but guess what? We're going to take our melody and we're going to walk down 3 notes from there, and this will work. It'll be a different style of harmonizing in thirds. So check it out. I'll walk down from the C. But again, that C and that A are on the same string. So what I'll do is I'll use this C. I'll go C, B, A. Okay? Right? So that's my first shape. And then that C goes down to B. So I go B, A, G. I just walk down 3 notes. Okay? Those are my first 2 spots for this melody. Remember, the melody is... harmonize it now by going interesting, right? So I'm just taking my melody note, going down three clicks within the scale, right? It's a great way to also just practice the shape of the scale, that pattern, and then we have the cool. So to review, we had our first way of harmonizing, which was putting a third within the scale above the melody. And that was the one that started right here and harmonized above. Okay. The second way we did it with thirds was going down from the melody, and that resulted in a similar but different sound. Nice. So that recipe is going to serve you well. We're going to talk about 6 now, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to walk up 6 steps within the scale, and we'll get a really cool harmony above the melody. And really all you have to think of is imagine 2 singers, and somebody has a very high voice, and somebody has that middle melody voice, and we could have someone way up there above, but it has to agree with the scale. In this case, we're staying within C major. Let's say someone's like, all right, well, I'll hit a harmony that's like above, but not that much higher above. Okay, that was the first one we did. It's the third above. Remember, it's third, but it's mixed of major and minor thirds. Just trust the shape of the scale. Someone's like, all right, I woke up, I had a bit of a wild night, so I'm going to sing below the melody. They're like, okay, great. Well, then you're going to be singing just underneath by a third. Okay, so let's get into showing you how to do it with the 6. Let's start on this melody note, and I'll show you what I've been playing. I just walked up within the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's showing me the shape. Okay. The second spot, that's my second melody note, remember? And I'm just counting, just so you know, just to be clear, I'm not counting scale number, degree numbers, right? It happened to be the same on that first one because that's the root and that is the first degree of the scale. But here, this is the B, that's the 7th degree of the scale. So in case you're wondering about that discrepancy, I'm just using this to like count my steps, right? So I'm just gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So that's what's giving me that shape. It's kind of like just checking your work. I'll do the same thing from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I have all 3 pairs. There we are. And if you're wondering, well, which one is the one to use? That's where you have to decide. To your ear, you might think, well, that sounds pretty cool, but it might sound a little bit unresolved to you. And that's where the player's choice kicks in. And you're like, well, I might do that, but then resolve it with one of the other harmonies, right? So if you're already thinking that way, know that that's totally allowed. This is just giving you some options on the menu. For the last one, and then I'll let you go, we're going to take the same melody and we're going to, you guessed it, walk down from those melody notes to 6 below. This person really has a low voice, and it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's one way you could hold it, but it's probably a bit more comfortable to hold it right there, right? And And that sounds really nice to have that melody up in the higher register above a lower sixth. You could also play that right there, right? Again, guitar, multiple spots. So we've got this shape right there. And if we go down 6 notes from here, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our first 2 shapes to review are, okay, we need to continue down from, what is it, the A? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nice. So again, you can see how this is tricky, but if you go slowly, you'll start to recognize these same shapes reoccur over and over again. Because once you've got them, you've got them. Meaning you could invent melodies on the fly once you get comfortable with these shapes. Because a lot of this just comes down to like having comfortable fingering, so you can just do these movements without any hiccups. But as I'm doing this, imagine I was sitting at the piano and just kind of doing that. You ever sit at the piano and be like, hey, that sounded pretty good, because you're just kind of following the shapes and the patterns of the spacing, which is a lot easier to see on the piano, whereas we have to deal with all these like diagonals and all that. But we got one on the piano players because we can move shapes and transpose like crazy. So again, that's one more thing that makes it well worth learning this. If you can get over these crazy diagonals and shapes of the guitar, we could scoot this to any key and just take those movable shapes with us. If you enjoyed this, let me know with a like and a comment. It really helps me understand what you want me to learn next. Also, tell me what topic you want me to cover. By the way, we did this topic this past week in my community, Guitar Workout of the Day. Check out the link in the description. You get 2 weeks totally free. We'd love to have you come join us and see if it suits your style. And then you'll be rocking and bringing the smiles for miles.